Your inheritance will never be yours. Don't you understand, Lucy? You're nothing without me. Marcus's voice echoed through the phone, cold and calculating. Lucy stared at her reflection in the cracked bathroom mirror of the homeless shelter. 3 months ago, she'd worn diamonds. Now, she wore desperation. You're wrong, she whispered, though her voice trembled. I was someone before you. Were you? Then why are you digging through trash while I sleep in our penthouse? Face it, you're broken, forgotten, and completely alone. The line went dead as Lucy slid down the wall, tears streaming down her face. She never saw the elegant silver-haired woman watching from across the street, phone in hand. I found her, Catherine. I found your daughter. Have you ever lost everything you built your identity around? When someone strips away your wealth, your status, your home, what remains? Would you have the strength to rebuild from nothing when the person who destroyed you comes back to take even more? If you're ready for a story about love, betrayal, and the ultimate revenge, hit that subscribe button now. This is Mr. Cael's Stories, and today's journey will change how you think about power, wealth, and what it truly means to rise from the ashes. 3 months before that desperate night in the shelter, Lucy Guo had everything. The wife of hedge fund titan Marcus Ashford, her days revolved around charity boards and exclusive social events. Their Central Park penthouse featured in architectural magazines, and their marriage was the envy of Manhattan's elite. Darling, the Vandermeyers are expecting us at 7, Marcus called from their master suite, adjusting his Patek Philippe watch, a wedding gift from Lucy. Lucy emerged in a crimson gown that complemented her olive skin. Will Senator Collins be there? I want to discuss the education initiative. Marcus's smile didn't reach his eyes. Always networking, aren't you? Remember, these connections are because of me. It was a subtle reminder, one of many, that she owed her position to him. Lucy brushed it off with practiced ease, having learned to navigate his quiet assertions of control. That evening, surrounded by New York's wealthiest, Lucy caught fragments of hushed conversations that stopped when she approached. Sidelong glances, pitying smiles. Is something wrong? She asked Eliza Vandermeyer, their hostess and supposedly her friend. Eliza hesitated. Lucy, dear, have you seen the photos? She reluctantly showed Lucy her phone. The screen displayed Marcus on a yacht with a stunning young woman in his lap, his hands possessively on her waist, lips against her neck. The timestamp, yesterday, when he'd claimed to be in Tokyo. Lucy's world narrowed to a pinpoint. She found Marcus laughing with financial executives across the room. Who is she? Lucy demanded, voice trembling despite her attempt at composure. Marcus glanced at the surrounding guests before steering her toward a private alcove. Not here, he hissed. Then where? When were you planning to tell me you're having an affair? His expression changed, the mask of loving husband slipping away to reveal something cold. Daria isn't an affair, Lucy. She's my future. I filed for divorce this morning. What? How could you? The prenup is ironclad. My lawyers have prepared everything. His voice dropped to a whisper. Did you really think this would last forever? A relationship built on your desperation to rebel against your mother? That night, Lucy discovered just how thoroughly Marcus had planned her destruction. Her credit cards were canceled, her name removed from accounts. The locks changed at their home. You can't do this, she screamed as security escorted her from the building, residents watching from behind partially closed doors. I already have, Marcus replied calmly. Nobody wants a used-up woman with nothing, Lucy. You should have listened to your mother. 3 weeks later, the divorce was finalized. The prenuptial agreement, signed in the haze of romantic optimism, left her with nothing. Lucy watched her life dismantled with brutal efficiency. Friends vanished. Invitations dried up. Society columns painted her as a gold digger who'd gotten what she deserved. Her pride prevented her from calling her mother. Catherine Guo had warned her about Marcus, had begged her not to marry him. Their final argument echoed in Lucy's mind daily. He's a predator, sweetheart. I've seen men like him. They don't love, they consume. Lucy had chosen Marcus over her mother, over her inheritance, over her own instincts, and Catherine, heartbroken but resolute, had closed every financial door. When you're ready to come home, I'll be waiting, her mother had said. But I won't fund your captivity. Lucy had called her mother a manipulative bitch and hadn't spoken to her again. Now, homeless and desperate, Lucy's expensive education meant nothing without references or connections. Every application was rejected. Every former friend ignored her calls. The descent happened quickly. First, a budget hotel until her savings dwindled, then a roach-infested apartment shared with strangers. Finally, when she could no longer pay rent, the streets. November in Manhattan brought merciless cold. Lucy learned to navigate shelters, to find food in restaurant dumpsters, to become invisible to the people who once air-kissed her cheeks at galas. She stood behind a shuttered cafe in the financial district, her designer coat now torn and filthy, barely keeping out the chill. Her fingers trembled as they sorted through discarded food containers. A woman in the shelter had told her this cafe threw away unsold sandwiches every night. Lucy had waited until the employees left, dignity long surrendered to hunger. When you reach rock bottom, her mother used to say, you discover what you're made of. Lucy wondered if she was made of anything at all anymore. Have you ever ignored warnings from someone who truly loved you? Drop a comment sharing how you learned to trust your instincts. If this story is touching your heart, hit that like button to help others find it too. Excuse me, are you Lucy Guo? Lucy turned slowly. A woman stood at the alley's entrance, elegant in a midnight black coat. Her silver hair was pulled back with precise elegance, and her eyes held something Lucy couldn't identify, not pity, but recognition. I don't know you, Lucy said, her voice hoarse from weeks of barely speaking. No, but I knew your mother intimately. The woman stepped closer. My name is Vivian Hart. I was Catherine's attorney for 20 years. She paused. Your mother passed away 9 days ago. The words floated in the air between them, surreal and impossible. No, Lucy whispered. That's not. I'm so sorry. She held on as long as she could, asking every day if I'd found you. She wanted to see you one more time. Lucy's legs gave out. She collapsed against the alley wall, the concrete rough against her palms. Everything inside her erupted in sounds that didn't seem human. Vivian knelt beside her, not touching, just present, waiting until Lucy could breathe again. Your mother never stopped loving you, Vivian said quietly. Even when you chose him, even when you said terrible things, she understood what he was doing to you better than you did. In Vivian's car, warm, impossibly luxurious after months on the streets, Lucy learned the truth. Your mother left you everything, Vivian explained. The penthouse in Tribeca, her venture capital firm, Guo Ventures, worth approximately $800 million. Her personal fortune, everything. Lucy stared at this elegant stranger, trying to understand if this was real or some cruel hallucination born of hypothermia and despair. But there are conditions, Vivian continued. First, you must return to Guo Ventures and restore it to profitability within 18 months. The firm has been struggling since you left. She handed Lucy photographs of the Tribeca penthouse, of the offices overlooking Battery Park, of the life Lucy had abandoned. Second condition, Marcus Ashford's development company is attempting to demolish the Brooklyn neighborhood where your mother funded a dozen startups. She spent her final years fighting to preserve it. You have to finish that fight. Marcus is trying to destroy her legacy? Lucy's breath caught painfully. He began the acquisition process 6 months after your divorce. Some believe it was strategic, punishing Catherine for refusing to enable your relationship. Rage flooded through Lucy, hot and clarifying. While she'd been controlled, believing his version of reality, he'd been planning revenge against a dying woman whose only crime was loving her daughter. The Tribeca penthouse appeared like something from another life as Vivian's car pulled up. Every window glowed, the facade beautiful and impossibly familiar. Mrs. Chen reached her first, the housekeeper who'd been with their family since Lucy was a child. Child, we thought we'd lost you forever. Welcome back. Then a younger woman stepped forward, expression guarded. I'm Mei Zhang, your mother's protege. I've been running Guo Ventures in her absence. She paused. You should understand what you're walking into before making promises about saving anything. Alone in the grand foyer, Lucy stood surrounded by memories. Marble floors gleamed. Original artwork lined the walls, pieces her mother had collected from artists she'd funded before they became famous. In her old bedroom, Lucy found fresh clothes and a note in her mother's handwriting. My darling girl, if you're reading this, I'm gone, but you're home. That's all I ever wanted. Don't waste time on guilt. Just live. Be the woman I always knew you were beneath all his lies. The conditions aren't punishment, they're your map back to yourself. I love you beyond words, Mama. In her mother's study, Lucy discovered a wall of photographs documenting her entire life. One photo was recent, taken from a distance. It showed Lucy outside a shelter, her face hollow but posture unbowed. Her mother had known where she was, had been watching over her even when Lucy had refused contact. Lucy's phone, charged for the first time in months, buzzed with a message from Marcus. Heard about your sudden good fortune. Congratulations. Remember what I told you during the divorce. The support I provided during our marriage has value. My lawyer will be in touch. Marcus. An email followed with official legal letterhead. Notice of legal action. Ashford v. Guo Estate. Mr. Marcus Ashford is filing suit seeking rightful compensation from the inheritance received by his former spouse, Lucy Guo. Claim. Mr. Ashford provided substantial support during their marriage, entitling him to 40% of all inherited assets. Lucy called Vivienne, unconcerned about the late hour. Marcus just declared war, she said. This time, I fight back. What would you do if you inherited millions, but with strings attached? Would you fight for your mother's legacy or walk away? Comment your thoughts below. If you're enjoying Lucy's journey from rock bottom to redemption, subscribe now for more powerful stories every week. You look terrible, said Mei Zhang bluntly, as Lucy entered the Guo Ventures offices the next morning. Lucy glanced down at her mother's silk blouse and tailored pants, clothing that once would have fit perfectly but now hung loosely on her frame. I've been living on the streets for 2 months, Lucy replied. What's your excuse? May's serious expression cracked with unexpected laughter. Your mother said you had a sharp tongue. Come on, the team is waiting. The conference room fell silent as Lucy entered. 8 people sat around a glass table, her mother's core team, now looking at her with expressions ranging from curiosity to open skepticism. This is Lucy Guo, May announced. Catherine's daughter and our new CEO. An older man with salt and pepper hair scoffed. With all due respect, Miss Guo, we've lost 3 major clients in the last month. 2 partners have left. Your mother built this firm over 30 years, and it's falling apart without her. What qualifies you to lead us? Lucy met his gaze steadily. Nothing, Mr. James Chen. I was your mother's first hire. Nothing qualifies me, Mr. Chen. I abandoned my mother and this company for a man who systematically isolated and destroyed me. But Catherine Guo believed I could save what she built. I intend to prove her right. She turned to the glass wall, displaying their investment portfolio. Show me everything, every account, every client, every problem. Hold nothing back. For 12 hours, Lucy absorbed information like a sponge. The firm had lost direction after Catherine's illness. Key relationships had frayed. Several promising startups had been poached by competitors, including Marcus's new investment group. At midnight, only Lucy and May remained. Why did you stay? Lucy asked. When everyone else was leaving, May closed her laptop. Your mother gave me a chance when no one else would, an immigrant with big dreams but no connections. She taught me everything. She paused, and she never gave up on you. Every day she'd say, when Lucy comes home, you'll help her rebuild. She knew I would fail with Marcus. She knew you would survive him, May corrected. There's a difference. The next morning, Lucy received a text from an unknown number. I hear you're playing CEO. Adorable. Dinner tonight? For old time's sake. Marcus. Lucy showed it to Vivienne during their legal strategy meeting. He's fishing for information, Vivienne said. Testing your vulnerabilities. I want to meet him, Lucy decided. On my territory. That evening, Marcus arrived at the Tribeca penthouse, as handsome and polished as ever, his custom suit and casual confidence designed to intimidate. Lucy, he said with practiced warmth, kissing her cheek. You're looking better. Amazing what a shower and actual food can do after months of homelessness, she replied evenly. His smile faltered slightly. The divorce was business, nothing personal. You understand that now, surely? Oh, I understand perfectly. Come in. She led him to the living room where Catherine's art collection worth millions lined the walls. Beautiful place, Marcus commented, eyes calculating the value of everything. Your mother had excellent taste. Yes, except when it came to judging my ex-husband. Lucy poured herself wine but offered him nothing. Why are you suing me, Marcus? I invested 3 years in you, Lucy. Gave you social standing, connections, a lifestyle you couldn't have achieved on your own. He leaned forward. 40% is generous considering what you cost me. Cost you? Your mother was actively working against my development projects while we were married, using information you unknowingly provided. I lost millions because of your pillow talk. Lucy laughed a genuine surprise sound. She was using me as an unwitting spy? Don't pretend you didn't know. I didn't, but I'm delighted to hear it. She sipped her wine. You won't get 40%. You won't get 40 cents. Marcus's charm disappeared instantly. You signed a prenup, but there was nothing about inheritance protection. My lawyers. We'll be speaking to my lawyers. But while they talk, I'll be taking back everything you stole. I stole nothing, he snapped. 3 clients from my mother's firm. The Brooklyn development she was protecting. My self-respect. My identity. Lucy set down her glass. I believed I was nothing without you, because that's what you programmed me to think. But I'm Catherine Guo's daughter, the woman who built an empire while you were still borrowing money for business school. Marcus stood, face flushed. You're making a mistake. I can destroy what's left of your reputation with one phone call. Try, Lucy challenged. But remember, I have nothing left to lose. You, on the other hand, have everything. After he left, May emerged from Catherine's study, where she'd been listening. He's dangerous, she warned. So am I, Lucy replied. I just forgot for a while. If you've ever had to confront someone who betrayed you, give this video a thumbs up. Would you have the courage to face your ex like Lucy did? Share your thoughts in the comments. The story's heating up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what happens next. For the next 6 weeks, Lucy threw herself into revitalizing Guo Ventures. She worked 18-hour days, reconnecting with former clients, studying market trends, learning everything about the Brooklyn neighborhood Marcus intended to demolish. The morning of the firm's first major pitch meeting since Catherine's death, Lucy stared at her reflection. The hollow-eyed woman from the shelter was gone. In her place stood someone new, neither the socialite wife she'd been, nor the broken woman she'd become, but something forged in both experiences. The meeting was with Adrian Reyes, a brilliant software engineer whose privacy protocol could revolutionize data security. Miss Guo, Adrian said, studying her as they shook hands. I knew your mother. She tried to fund my first startup, but you went with Blackridge Capital instead, Lucy noted. Marcus Ashford's fund. Adrian looked surprised. You've done your homework. Your technology failed under their management because they rushed you to market before testing was complete. Now you've built something better, but you're wary of making the same mistake. He leaned forward. Why should I trust you? Because I know exactly how Marcus Ashford operates. He finds potential, exploits it, then discards what remains. I won't do that. She slid a contract across the table. My mother's standard agreement. Founder-friendly terms, longer runway, hands-on mentorship. Adrian read the terms, eyebrows rising. This is generous. It's smart business. We believe in building relationships that last, not extracting maximum value as quickly as possible. When Adrian signed, the Guo Ventures team erupted in applause, their first major win in months. That night, Lucy visited her mother's grave for the first time. The elegant marble headstone stood against the darkening sky. I'm trying, Mom, she whispered, placing white lilies beside the stone. I don't know if I can save everything, but I'm trying. She would be proud. Lucy spun around to find a tall, broad-shouldered man standing a respectful distance away holding similar flowers. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't mean to intrude. I'm Daniel Keller. You knew my mother? He nodded, placing his flowers beside Lucy's. Catherine funded my architecture firm when no one else would. I'm the lead designer for the Brooklyn Arts District she was fighting to preserve. Lucy studied him mid-30s, with thoughtful eyes and an open face. No wedding ring. The district Marcus Ashford wants to replace with luxury condos, she said. The very same. Daniel's expression darkened. Your mother was our champion. After she fell ill, Ashford's company began buying properties, pressuring owners to sell. Tell me everything. They talked for hours at a nearby cafe, Daniel explaining the community Catherine had nurtured artists, designers, small tech startups, all working in converted warehouse spaces. It's not just buildings, Daniel explained passionately. It's an ecosystem. The jewelry designer collaborates with the AI engineer. The sustainable fashion studio shares resources with urban farmers. Your mother understood that innovation happens at intersections. Lucy found herself drawn to his passion, his intelligence, the way his hands moved when he spoke about design. For the first time in years, she felt a genuine connection with someone, not based on status or appearances, but on shared values. Will you show me? She asked. The district. I need to see it through your eyes. The next day, Daniel guided Lucy through cobblestone streets lined with reimagined industrial spaces. Artists worked in glass-fronted studios. Tech entrepreneurs gathered in collaborative workspaces. Cafes buzzed with creative energy. "This is what Marcus wants to destroy?" Lucy asked. "For him, it's just undervalued real estate. For us, it's the future." In a sunlit courtyard, surrounded by community gardens, Daniel showed her the architectural plans for expansion. Catherine's vision for growth that preserved the district's character. "Your mother believed creativity needs space to breathe," he explained. "These plans would double capacity while maintaining affordability." As they walked, their hands brushed occasionally, sending unexpected warmth through Lucy. When rain began to fall, they ducked into a tiny bookstore cafe. Over steaming cups of tea, their conversation drifted from business to personal. "How did you meet my mother?" Lucy asked. Daniel's smile was warm with memory. "I was living in my studio, sleeping on a futon, when she walked in unannounced. She'd heard about my sustainable design concepts and wanted to see for herself." "That sounds like her," Lucy laughed. "She never could respect boundaries when she was curious." "She changed my life," he said simply. "I'd like to help you protect what she valued." Do you believe true connections appear when we least expect them? Like this video if you've ever found strength through an unexpected friendship or relationship. I'm curious, would you fight to save a community like Lucy is? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for the exciting conclusion. 3 months after returning to Guo Ventures, Lucy faced her biggest challenge yet. Marcus had accelerated his Brooklyn development plans, scheduling a zoning board hearing that could determine the district's fate. The night before the hearing, Lucy paced her mother's study, rehearsing arguments. Daniel sat nearby, revising their presentation. "You're ready for this," he assured her. Their relationship had evolved cautiously over the weeks, professional respect deepening into friendship, and lately, something more. Neither had acted on the growing attraction. Both aware of Lucy's recent trauma, Marcus will have political connections, financial projections showing tax revenue. What if? Daniel crossed the room and took her hands. "Lucy, you've prepared more thoroughly than anyone could. The community is behind you. Your mother's research gives us leverage." She looked up at him, suddenly aware of how close they stood. "Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself." Something shifted between them, a moment of recognition. Daniel leaned forward slowly, giving her time to retreat. Instead, Lucy closed the distance, their lips meeting in a gentle, questioning kiss that quickly deepened with unexpected intensity. When they finally pulled apart, both slightly breathless, Daniel pressed his forehead to hers. "I've wanted to do that since the cemetery." Lucy laughed softly. "That's either extremely romantic or slightly concerning." The hearing room was packed the next morning, community members, press, investors. Marcus sat with his development team, his new girlfriend Daria strategically visible in a front row seat. When Lucy entered with Daniel and the Guo Ventures team, Marcus's confident expression flickered briefly. The zoning board chairman called the meeting to order. "We'll hear first from Ashford Development regarding the proposed luxury residential complex." Marcus presented with practice charm promising jobs, tax revenue, revitalization. His slides showed gleaming towers replacing underutilized industrial spaces. "The current occupants," he concluded smoothly, "will receive fair market compensation. Progress requires change, and this neighborhood has tremendous untapped potential." When Lucy's turn came, she approached the podium calmly. "Members of the board, my name is Lucy Guo. My mother, Catherine Guo, invested in this district for 15 years, not just with capital, but with vision." She presented their alternative development plan, Daniel's designs that preserved existing structures while adding affordable housing and expanded workspaces. "The choice today isn't between progress and preservation," Lucy explained. "It's between short-term profit for outside investors versus sustainable growth that benefits the existing community." Then came her masterstroke. Before her death, my mother commissioned an economic impact study. She distributed bound reports. "This district currently generates more tax revenue and jobs per square foot than any comparable luxury development in the city. Mr. Ashford's projections are based on outdated models that fail to account for creative economy multipliers." Marcus leaned to whisper urgently with his lawyers. They hadn't anticipated actual data. During the public comment period, dozens of district occupants spoke. The jewelry designer, whose work now sold internationally, the AI startup that had just received major funding, the urban farming initiative feeding local restaurants. When the board announced they would delay their decision to review both proposals thoroughly, Marcus approached Lucy. "Impressive performance," he said, smile tight, "but ultimately futile. The board chairman plays golf with my father-in-law." "Former father-in-law," Lucy corrected. "And yes, Gerald always did enjoy Augusta National." "Interesting timing. By the way, your lawsuit against my inheritance and this development push happening simultaneously." Marcus stepped closer, voice low. "This isn't personal, Lucy. It's business." "That's where you're wrong," she replied. "You made it personal when you tried to destroy me. When you targeted my mother's legacy out of spite. I never. Save it for someone who doesn't know exactly who you are." Lucy met his gaze directly. "You taught me an important lesson, Marcus. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." As he stalked away, Daniel approached. "Everything okay?" Lucy watched her ex-husband's retreating figure. "It will be. Standing up to powerful people takes incredible courage. Double tap that like button if you're rooting for Lucy to win against her ex. Have you ever had to fight against someone who seemed to hold all the cards? Share your experience in the comments. The finale is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss how this emotional journey ends. 6 months later, Lucy stood on the rooftop garden of the newly christened Catherine Guo Innovation Center, the cornerstone of the preserved and expanded Brooklyn Arts District. The zoning board had ultimately rejected Marcus's development plan, swayed by community support and economic data. Marcus hadn't gone quietly leaking stories to the press about Lucy's mental instability and time on the streets, but the narrative had backfired when Daniel and others spoke publicly about her resilience and vision. Guo Ventures was thriving again. 3 major exits in recent months had restored the firm's reputation. May had been promoted to partner, bringing fresh energy to Catherine's legacy. As for Marcus's lawsuit, it had collapsed spectacularly when Vivian produced evidence that he had systematically transferred Lucy's personal assets during their marriage, a direct violation of their prenuptial agreement. The sunset painted the Brooklyn skyline in golden light as guests arrived for the center's official opening. Artists, entrepreneurs, and investors mingled in the space that embodied Catherine's vision. Daniel found Lucy at the edge of the crowd. "Penny, for your thoughts?" he asked, slipping his arm around her waist. "I was thinking about rock bottom," she said. "About how sometimes you have to lose everything to find what matters." He kissed her temple. "Your mother would be proud." "Miss Guo?" A young woman approached nervously. "I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm Sophia Mendez. Your mother funded my education initiative last year. I just wanted to thank you for continuing her support." Lucy smiled. Catherine had an eye for potential. "I'm just following her lead." As Sophia rejoined the party, Lucy spotted a familiar figure near the entrance, Marcus, watching from a distance. Their eyes met briefly before he turned and walked away. "Are you okay?" Daniel asked, noticing her expression. "Better than okay," Lucy replied. "I just realized something. For months after he left me, I fantasized about revenge, about making him suffer as I had suffered. But now, seeing him, you don't care anymore," Daniel finished. "Exactly." She turned to face him fully. "The best revenge wasn't destroying him. It was rebuilding myself into someone stronger than I ever was before." Under the stars, surrounded by the community her mother had nurtured, and the man who had helped her rediscover herself, Lucy felt Catherine's presence. "The greatest power you have," her mother had once told her, "is not what you can take, but what you can create." Lucy had created something beautiful from the ashes of her former life. Not just a restored company or a preserved neighborhood, but a new understanding of her own worth, independent of anyone else's validation. As Daniel led her to address the waiting crowd, Lucy thought about the woman who had once stood trembling in an alley, searching through garbage for food. That woman wasn't gone. She had become the foundation upon which Lucy had rebuilt herself stronger, wiser, and finally, completely free. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice clear and confident. "Today, we celebrate not just a building, but a vision, one that reminds us that even when we lose everything, we can rise again. Sometimes, that's exactly what we need to happen." This journey reminds us that our greatest power isn't in wealth or status, but in how we rebuild after devastation. If Lucy's story touched your heart, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. There's a new powerful story every week on Mr. Cael Stories. What was your favorite moment in Lucy's transformation? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, remember, sometimes hitting rock bottom is just the beginning of your greatest chapter.